Hello everyone, welcome back to the greenhouse. I'm Kate with Wallace's, and I am here to talk to you about probably the number one question we get in the greenhouse right now, which is, when is it safe to plant? Can I put this outside right now? Can I plant my garden? When we have these warm days and the sun is out and shining and the greenhouse is full and bursting with color, and we all just want to get going and get our pots planted, and we want to get our tomatoes in the ground, and everyone just wants to know, when is it safe? So you may hear people talk about our frost-free date. When is our frost date? And what that means is it's actually an average of when the last light or medium frost is going to hit in our area. So in the Quad Cities, that can be anywhere between April 22nd and April 29th or 30th, right at the end of April there. But because it's an average, that means there is still about a 50% chance that we could have a frost after that date. So I don't like to use the true frost-free date as an example for people. The date that I like to use is when we're less likely to have a 10% chance or less of having a frost, which around this area is actually May 9th. But a lot of us don't want to, kind of keep track of that. And so one of the easiest ways to do, and the guideline that I tell most of our customers in the greenhouse, is watch the extended forecast on the news at night. And when you see that the night temperatures are 45 to 50 degrees and higher on a consistent basis, you're pretty much good to go. Because even when we hit freezing temperatures, which is 32, you can still actually have a frost at 36. So our plants that we grow in the greenhouse, we grow everything here on site. That greenhouse rarely gets below 55 degrees right now. So the plants haven't been introduced to some of the colder weather that can happen in the late spring here. So as we come up on that date of May 9th, that is a good kind of guideline, but also just keep an eye on those low temperatures in the forecast. And if we're at 45 or 50, you're pretty much good to go. So what does that mean? What can I plant? Well, that pretty much means all of the annuals that you want to plant in your containers, all of those annual flowers, your geraniums, your petunias, are pretty much safe to plant. That is also the time at which you can start direct sowing seed into your garden. So if you want to plant your peas, your beans, plant your tomato seedlings that you've grown indoors, getting past those frost days is when you can start planting that. Getting into those warmer night temperatures is really the green light for all of us to kind of start doing anything we want to in the garden. But always keeping an eye in case we have a cold snap coming, in which case give us a call, come in, ask us what you can do to protect what you've already planted. So because of that, in the spirit of that, I'm actually going to plant a container. I always like to plant a couple right away as soon as the weather permits, so I can get a few things going, especially in front of my house, so that I have nice full planters by the time we hit Memorial Day. So I'm going to go ahead and plant a container today. So when you are getting ready to plant your pots, it's been a year since you've done this usually, so make sure that if you get new pots, make sure they have a drainage hole in the bottom so that the water can get out, and just choose a nice pot. This is actually a plastic pot that I love that I chose. It looks like a glazed ceramic pot. It's got fun texture. The color goes with my house, so I'm actually going to put this out on my front porch when I'm done with it. And it's time to get your container mix. So we use Wallace's container mix. This is our own branded potting soil that this is what we use in the greenhouse. So everything that you're buying from us that we grow is planted in this soil. So if you want to use the same thing that we do, go ahead, buy the Wallace's container mix. If this is the year when you've decided to get new pots, but you're not really sure where to start, aside from just looking at what you like and what like the appearance of, we actually have another video on all the different types of pots and how to choose them and how to choose the best one for you. So check that out on our YouTube channel. Okay, now I've got my container and I've got it filled with the Wallace's container mix. Just a nice fluffy soil. I pretty much fill my containers almost to the top, and because I like to kind of dig out where I'm going to put each plant, and then go back through and fill in with just a little bit of soil at the end here. One question that we get all the time when people are starting to plant their containers is, can I just use the same dirt that's in there from last year? Although that seems like an easy thing to do, it's not the best thing for your plants. We use fresh potting soil for everything that we plant in the greenhouse, and you should too. The soil that you have from last year has had all of the nutrients pretty much washed out of it. There's not a lot of structure left. There's a lot of root material in there, and your plants are just not going to be as successful. So we do recommend a total change out of your potting soil every single year. So make sure that you are buying new container mix and refilling your planters. I've decided I'm going to do this for my front porch, which faces north and also has an overhang, so it's very shady. So I've chosen some all kind of shade-loving annuals. For my kind of big centerpiece of my container, I'm going to use one of my favorite plants. This is a Kimberly Queen fern. This is a fern that can actually take full shade, or it can grow in quite a bit of sun as well. So, and I'm going to put it right in the center as kind of the thriller of my container. So I'm going to put it right down in the center. I've just kind of dug a hole in the soil about the same size as the root ball. I'm going to nestle that in there and then put the soil around it. And I've got this awesome kind of real big, kind of awesomely textured thriller fern plant in the center of my container. The next plant I'm going to add is going to be my trailer. This is a wishbone flower or Terrenia called Summer Wave Blue, and I'm going to put that kind of in the front here, right towards the front edge of the pot. And that way this plant is going to have these pretty blue flowers that just trail right over the edge. And then I'm going to put two kind of pink foliage plants on either side of my fern and kind of tuck them in here. So the first one I'm going to do is this coleus plant that is going to be kind of a nice, big, moundy, just awesome, kind of big, colorful plant. And I'm going to stick it right next to the fern and behind that wishbone flower, and put it right there. When I plant containers, I really like to kind of cram them kind of full. You can use a few less plants if you want and let them fill in. I tend to really kind of cram them in nice and close together and just let them kind of just overflow and explode out of the container. On this other side, I'm going to do one of these, another foliage plant, a caladium or elephant ear, with that same kind of bright pink foliage color. So, and it's got these big kind of rounded leaves that are going to contrast with that fern and just be a really nice complementary mix. So we're going to have that in there. And these are all shade-loving plants, so when I put them outside, they're going to be great. Now in the back side, I'm just going to fill in with a couple other basic plants to get it going. So I'm going to use my favorite dragon wing begonia and put that in here. So I'm just going to dig a little spot and put in my dragon wing. And then just like my trailer in the front, I'm going to add a trailer on the back side. Now if no one's going to see the back side of your pot, you don't need another trailer. This will be on my front porch, so you'll see the back side of it from my front door, but from the street you'll see what we had in the front. So I'm going to put another one of those trailing Summer Wave Blue, and then I'm going to put this last dragon wing in my open spot that I have left, and then I'm going to have my container all finished. Now that I have everything planted, I'm going to go through and kind of look and just see if there's any spots that I need to add a little bit more soil. I usually just use one of my empty pots to kind of scoop out my soil. And I'm just going to fill in some of these low spots and make sure I have enough soil in there to get my planter full. And then whenever we finish planting a container, the one thing we always need to think about is fertilizer. I like to use in a newly planted container some Osmocote, which is a coated pelleted fertilizer. I put it into all around the top of the soil. This is a slow release that's going to last about 2 months. So I'm going to mix this, top dress it right onto the top of my soil. You can also put this in before you plant the plants. Sometimes that's a little easier. Basically, we want to use about 1 capful per container. And then for the rest of the season, we're going to use a water-soluble fertilizer. I like to use the Jack's Blossom Booster, and this is one that we're going to mix in a watering can with water and do about once a week. If you want to learn more about fertilizers, we have an awesome video called Fertilizer Basics, where we talk about all the different types of fertilizer and when, where, and how to use them. So check that out on our YouTube channel. So I have my container ready to go. As we were talking about earlier, frost-free dates. We are past the average frost-free date for our area. And so now I'm just going to look at those evening low temperatures. Once we get 45, 50 degrees consistently is when this guy is going to go outside on my front porch. Come visit me in the greenhouse if you want to get going on your containers. It's absolutely beautiful right now, and we can help you pick out the perfect plants for your home and garden. Come visit us at Wallace's here in Bettendorf.